So a while back I did a video on this Spectrum Plus, and it was nothing dramatic. It was a bit of a recap, I think, and modernised it a bit and fitted a little Bluetooth module, which was great. And I thought all was well, but that's not really the case. What I found subsequently using it is that once it's been left on a while, it's absolutely fine. But when it's cold, it just won't load games. And as much as I'd like to show you that, I use my phone to link to Bluetooth to load the games on, and I also use its recording, so I can't demonstrate that. But trust me, once the machine's warmed up, it's absolutely fine. But while it's cold, no chance. Before we get started properly, I would like to give a big shout and thank you to the sponsor of this video, PCBWay. As their name suggests, they do PCBs from as little as $5 with super fast shipping. Not only that, if you don't want to make the board up yourself, you can also have them populate it for you. Not only that, they also do 3D printing, like for this case they made up for me for my Spectrum expansion card. And if you need CNC machining, they also do that too. And if you're a tinkerer like me and you need some inspiration, then do check out their project pages. There's something there for everyone. There's a link in the description, and thank you again, PCBWay, for making videos like this possible. Now, here what you're probably saying is, well, what's it like with loading off tape? I've given up trying to load off tape, either the tape snap or the machine itself, the tape players, just too problematic for me. So I've given up with tape, and Bluetooth for me is the way forward. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is check out my handiwork to see if there's an issue with that, because at this moment in time I'm thinking that's probably most likely. So let's get it open. So looking around it then, there's a Bluetooth module obviously, and taken power off C34. Not the best soldering, but good enough for me anyway. And then we've just got the signal wire, which comes all the way up the back here and goes onto the back of the top end of resistor C37. Now, I'll give it a bit of a wiggle. Well, it seems to be on there pretty good. I don't think that is necessarily the issue. But I'll get my magnifying glasses and have a bit of a closer look. So that's a bit of a close-up of my soldering botch job, but I don't think I've got any shorts there. I will double check it with the multimeter there. I don't think that is the problem. So just looking at the schematic, R37 and R36 should be connected, so that should give me a short, which it does, which is correct. There should be no short on there, which there isn't. And then if we just go on the bottom of R37, that should be a good short to ground, which it is. Resistance of almost nothing. So that seems good. Now, I suppose there's always the remote possibility that the Bluetooth board itself is faulty. I suspect it probably won't be the Bluetooth board, but I think the easiest thing, rather than starting to dig around on here, is to just swap this out and see if the problem disappears. So that's what I'm going to do. So, I've got my new Bluetooth module there. It's all a bit of a botch job at the moment. But I've just tried off camera and it's made no difference to the loading whatsoever. Try and load and same problem as before. So as suspected, it wasn't the Bluetooth module. So now I think we need to start looking at the Spectrum motherboard. I'll bring up the schematics because that's the bit that's going to help us. There must be something on the board that's faulty, but I need to turn the power off now because I don't want it to warm up, otherwise the fault will go away. So this is a schematic for the issue 3. The bit that we're interested in is over here. And I will zoom in if I can. Right, there we go. So this is the ear input, and on the Bluetooth connector we connected to the north side of, I'm going to put my teeth back in. So on the Bluetooth yellow signal cable we connected to the north side of R37. We've already tested that the ground is okay. 0 to 1 ohms resistance, which is perfect. I've measured across the resistor as well, and it's a 1 kilo ohm resistor, and that measures that perfectly. And I've also checked the resistor next door, and that is 680 ohms, which I've tested that one as well already off camera, and that comes back as about 670 something. So I know that bit's good so far, so it must be something in this lot here, and there's the ULA. Now what I'm thinking is, I can't remember if this Spectrum I swapped out the ULA, but what I will do is I'll swap the ULA around and see if that makes a difference, because that's going to be a lot easier than trying to test any of these components here. But I strongly suspect at this time that it's going to be either a dodgy capacitor, or could there potentially be a problem with TR7? Possibly, but the speaker seems okay. But I'm not 100% sure. But it's got to be either the ULA or something in this bit here. It's got to be. So let's get back to the board and start having a dig. So back on the mat, I think I'm going to bob the ULA out, which is socketed. All the Spectrum Sinclair Spectrum ones anyway. All the Sinclair Spectrum ULAs are socketed. Why this one doesn't want to come out. There we go. Been a pen there. There we go. Right, and I'm going to put this in. It's VLA 82. It's a modern equivalent. Does everything that ULA should. So we'll give that a try. We can at least eliminate the ULA then. So bear with me. I will check this off camera. So I've just tested it again. There's the new ULA in there. And this time it did start to load a little bit. So maybe the old ULA, I don't know, there's a different resistance on it. I don't know. But it still failed. It got a little bit into loading and failed. So there's definitely something still amiss. So let's get back to the blue mat and have a more in-depth look. So back on the mat, let's put that in, so we get everything in frame. One thing I thought I'd do is just test the signal wire and just make sure I'm getting high resistance or anything. 0.2 ohm. So there's no problem with the wire itself either. I thought I'd eliminate that though as being a problem. I think another quick thing to test as well will be the speaker. Like I say, it didn't seem to have any issues making noise and stuff, but this should be 40 ohm, and with it just being part of the same circuit. Yeah, 39 ohm. No issue there. So referring back to the schematics then, I've checked R37, I've checked R36, those in there. Let me find something to point with if I can. Yeah, so I've done R37, which is that resistor there. I've checked R36, and that's fine too. Now, I think this is C32 from the schematic. It should be 100 nanofarad capacitor. Now that is a potential problem. I've never known any of these fail, but without testing it, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip that out and give it a quick test. So a quick test with the component thingamaboob. It's a non-polarized capacitor, so it doesn't matter which way around we go. A resistor. Why does it think that's a resistor? Well, now it thinks it's a capacitor. Is that me, or is that strange? Why is that thinking it's a resistor? Then it thinks it's a capacitor. I don't know. What do you think? Is that faulty? I don't think so. Right, I think that's okay. I think it's the machine. Do you know what? For the sake of it, I'm going to replace it. I'm going to get one out of a donor board. Right, so I've got another capacitor out of my donor board. The one I've taken out. Just put to one side for now so I don't get confused. Now, I've done this a couple of times. I forgot to start recording. And each time this comes back as a capacitor. Every single time. It's not once. I've done this a few times now. A few off camera as well. It's not once come back as a resistor. Now, that might be just because maybe my test leads weren't on it, making a nice contact. Would that make a difference? I don't know. Right, one more time. Right, so I'm going to put this one in. I'm going to get rid of the old one. I don't trust it. Turn that off. Right, let's put this one from the donor board in and see if this makes any difference whatsoever. In fact, it was saying resistor there. Yeah, spooked me. Well, you won't believe that, because I'm struggling to believe it, but that load absolutely perfectly. Was it that capacitor? So everything's... Just because I'm doing it off camera, I just don't want you to think I'm cheating somehow. Yeah, so that load did absolutely perfectly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try it with a few more times as well. I'm conscious that I don't want it to heat up as well, because then the problem will go away. So this may take some time to do, but for you it will be a matter of seconds. So next game, Doomsday Castle. That's also loaded absolutely fine. Is it possible I've fixed this? I'll tell you what, I'm going to go have a cup of tea and leave this to cool down so it's nice and cool between tests. See you in about 3 seconds. Here we are. Some considerable time later, and everything I try to load now loads first time every time, as it should do. I've never heard of one of those failing before. And what else could it be? I've taken it out, I've swapped it for a different one, and it now works absolutely perfectly. All that's left to do now is put it all back together and give it one last test. Right, so just when I thought I had it fixed, I put it all back together and it's given me an error now loading it. How annoying is that? So, the only thing that's different is, of course, I changed that capacitor, and I also changed the ULA. So maybe it's a culmination of a couple of things, that capacitor and the ULA itself. So I'm going to put this ULA in and I'll test it again. Well, there it is behind me. It's working perfectly now. Loads first time every time from cold. I've not experienced a problem like this before with a ULA and the wee little capacitor. C32 was it? Yeah, really, really strange. I've not come across that before. So hopefully if you've got a similar issue, then this might point you in the right direction. But that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you like what I do, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a subscribe if you'd like to see more. There's also a link in the description if you would like to support my channel and get early access to my videos. That all said, thank you for watching, and I'll hope to see you again soon in another one. Bye for now.